How's it going, friends? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about this semester because it is almost over and I have grown a lot. And I think a lot of that growth has been not particularly publicized. / a limited number of people know exactly what that growth has looked like, but I am really proud of the growth that has happened this semester in my life, and I want to share it with the people who care about me. This has been like such a wild semester. I have genuinely had my lowest points of my entire life and the highest points of my life this semester. So I guess I'm just gonna start listing things that happened, and then we'll talk about some of them, or we won't, and we'll see what this video looks like. Let's also talk about interim. I think that's important. So like interim and this semester. So that's January, February, March, April, May. So over the course of the past 5 months in my life. 2020, what is up? What did I do? What has happened? I stage managed my first show, which was absolutely incredible. I almost got kicked out of Calvin, which was absolutely not incredible. I thought I was gonna finish, started stage managing my first semester show, and as far as I know, Calvin's only show that's gone spring, summer, fall in terms of rehearsals, which is a really cool experience. Met a lot of great people, made a lot of great friends, learned a lot about myself. I tried to kill myself in February for a lot of reasons, and I'm not even exactly sure what was going on. But I know that my mental illness was not medicated correctly, or with a medication that worked well for me, and I had a bunch of stressors on my plate, and I was isolating instead of turning to people around me, and I was just in a position where I felt incredibly overwhelmed, and I didn't know how to care for myself, so I didn't know what to do. I spent 11 days in a mental hospital, which honestly could have its own video. I dropped some classes, worked on some incompletes. I started seeing a trauma therapist in addition to a normal therapist. At one point, I was in therapy 3 times a week, while also being a full-time student, while also being a stage manager of a show that rehearsed 20 hours a week. I lived in the United States during a global pandemic. I moved 4 times in 3 weeks. I have been really sick this semester with a number of things. Whether that was just like a severe cold that kind of looked like it might be COVID-19 and so I got sent to quarantine housing, or whether that's a flare-up of my gut disorder. I don't want to say I graduated, but like I outgrew a therapist, which is so bizarre to me. Like that relationship just naturally reached its conclusion, and the therapist was like, you do not need to see me anymore. You're in such a tremendously better place than you were at the beginning of the semester that there's nothing more that we in this context can work on. So I still see the trauma therapist, but not my other therapist. I started this YouTube channel. I started a project to create a piece of art every day for a year. I genuinely learned how to care for myself well. I had a top surgery consultation. I started a fundraiser, which is absolutely crazy to me. Thank you so much for donating, if you have donated and see this. And even though I'm not ready to talk about it to everyone yet, I've figured out what Joe stands for. Like, we all know, or at least most of us know, that it's like just a short version of the name I was given at birth, but like I figured out what I want it to stand for. I learned how to set boundaries. I learned how to say no to things. I learned how to endure hardship. I learned how to take time for myself. I learned how to press on and do things when I don't feel like doing them. I learned so much, and I did so many big and scary things, and it doesn't sound like I did a lot, because a lot of it was just things that happened to me, but like I experienced so much this semester. And like the semester's not over. We've still got this week of classes and then finals. And so who knows? Who knows what I'm gonna experience? Pause and take a minute to look back at what exactly has happened, because I know time is kind of meaningless and it feels like everything is going super fast all at once, and then also like a day is like a year. I'm such a different person than I was in January. I also want to take some time to recognize that I could not have done this on my own, and that while I have done a lot of really hard work, and while I have made a lot of important decisions and done a lot of like self-discovery and hard work, I could not have done that hard work in isolation. And I owe such an incredible debt to the community around me. So whether you see this or not, if you have been a part of this past semester in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I owe you a tremendous deal, and I am very grateful for you. And even if you haven't exactly been a part of this past semester, but like you've been a part of my life at all, and so you've lived into me and gave me like skills or strength or understanding to get to this point, then I owe a great deal to you as well. I want to close by sharing an anecdote from therapy. I told my therapist that I was looking into getting top surgery, and he did not question it at all. He was immediately supportive. His exact words were, "That's fantastic, I'm so excited for you." And like, that's great. But I was curious, he didn't want to explore that, really. So I asked him at our next session, I was like, "Hey, you seem really supportive of this, and like, I'm glad you are, but why?" And he said that it was simply because I was so certain about it. And he could tell that I had done the work already of questioning and discerning and figuring out whether it was something I needed in my life or not. And I thought that was really interesting. And as I look over the past 5 months, I don't know how to talk about them. I don't know how to talk about the work I've done. I don't know how to talk about the transformation that I have undergone. But I know people have seen it and people have spoken about it to me, and they have seen it in me, and they can vouch that I have done the work, and that's enough. As we all move into a season of finals, first of all, I want to pat us all on the back because we are surviving a collective traumatic experience. Regardless of whatever else is going on in your life, this pandemic is a global trauma, and we are surviving it together. Secondly, I want to encourage you that even if you can't articulate what exactly is happening and what exactly is going on in your life or what it necessarily looks like or things of that nature, just because you can't describe the good work doesn't mean it's not happening. So even if it's hard for you to see it, I see growth. I see growth in myself. I see growth in the people around me. And if you ask the people around you, I am sure they will tell you they see the growth in you. So know that you are in a position where you are strong enough and capable enough to do what is set before you. Even if in January you didn't think that would be possible. That's a really fast overview of what this semester has been. There have been countless other moments in there, but that's my semester. That's what I did. That's where I was. That's what I grew from. I've learned so much about myself, and it's unbelievable. I hope you take some time to think about the ways you've grown recently.